Hello everyone, my name is Nisha and I am the YogicAmnesiac. I think today's video is going to be a really short, quick one. I'm talking about yoga myths that people have. If you have one and I don't cover it in this, or something you believe but you're not sure if it's actually true, leave it down in the comments below and I could totally do a part 2 of this if you guys like it or have a bunch of questions. So let's get started. I would like to also just give a quick shout out to everyone who helped me come up with this list. I obviously can do my best to make some kind of list, but I don't know if people actually believe certain things because I'm so deep into yoga already. So you guys know who you are, and thank you guys so much. I love you all. One really big one, and I've heard this a ton, is that people are convinced that yoga is always spiritual or everyone has some sort of religious thing to gain out of doing yoga. That's totally not true. I understand that yoga and spirituality do meld together very well, and there are a lot of aspects of yoga as a whole that do have to do with spiritual beliefs and religious beliefs. That being said, there's a whole different side of yoga, which is just exercise and working out and having fun, healing your body, and physical therapy even. Not all yoga instructors will even make it a spiritual experience. You might hear them say namaste or something like that, but that doesn't even necessarily mean anything religious. It's honestly a greeting, so don't worry if they say something like that to you, and you are always allowed to opt out of saying things or doing things. I've never actually participated in a group saying Om. I might really quietly do something in the back, but whenever I do yoga, I like to be completely silent and just be in my own mind. So I've never participated in that. No one's gonna get mad if you don't, and no teacher will get mad if you decide to ignore spiritual aspects. There are teachers who do lean more to the spiritual side, so there are people who do it, and you are totally welcome to be like, this class isn't for me, and go to a different class. No one's going to feel offended. I'm one of those teachers who does not include a lot of spirituality in my teachings or classes, just because I don't think it's right to. I don't want to put that on a lot of people, and it's not necessarily something that I feel like needs to be shared with everyone, but if that's what you're interested in and that's what you want to do, you totally can. The number one myth I've heard is that only women can do yoga. I can't tell you how wrong this is, how many amazing male yogis there are out there, how strong they are, how fit they are, how flexible they are. I've seen pictures of men doing absolutely crazy things I don't think I could ever do. Beyond that, men can reap the same benefits as women. So no matter what gender you even identify as, even if it doesn't fall in this male-female spectrum, there is something out there for you. Yoga's totally for everyone. It is not for just women. I mean, if you really think about it, why would it be just for women anyway if you could also get benefits out of it? Any benefit a woman is getting, a man could get as well. This kind of goes hand in hand with being women, but people are convinced that you have to be flexible to do yoga. If you ever say this to me, I will get so mad. This is my biggest pet peeve, is people who say you have to be flexible to do yoga, or who use their lack of flexibility as an excuse. Yoga is about building on something, so you can be stiff as a rod, and that's fine, because you're working towards something. Yoga is also just as much about strength as it is flexibility. Depending on the class you go to, you might even find an emphasis more so on strength than flexibility. Some are focused more on flexibility. Depending on the group you have, the teacher will usually tailor it to you or to what they think this class should be about, but you can find yoga for everything. This is a good segue to my next. People think that there's only one type of yoga. If there was only one type of yoga, then maybe it would be just about flexibility. But there's even stuff like power yoga out there. Beyond things like power yoga, there are more traditional yogas, I suppose we could call them, that aren't just the same. I do specifically hatha yoga. I'm really interested in other kinds, but there are all sorts of different types of yoga. A lot of the other practices are more advanced, though. Hatha yoga is more welcoming to all levels. We have something for everyone, but there's other kinds that are a little bit harder. There's Iyengar, which I believe has to do with props, Vinyasa, which is more about flowing, which means that each move has a transition to the next move, or in Hatha Yoga, we're pretty happy just standing up, scooting our butt, and doing something else. I guess I touched on it briefly, but I've heard a lot of people think that Hatha yoga is specifically beginner yoga. It's not. You have all the poses, everything. You can do anything like that. You could turn Hatha yoga into another kind, combine different types of yoga. So there's no reason that Hatha yoga is specifically for beginners. This next one makes me furious when I hear. It makes me feel really bad about the culture we've even created around yoga. It's that people think that yoga is only for thin people. This is beyond false. I have seen big men with huge beards, these huge guys doing yoga and totally rocking it. If they can do it, I'm sure you can too. And this also kind of goes beyond just being bigger bodied or curvy. You also don't have to be able-bodied to do yoga. You can be missing a limb or have some paralysis or anything like that, and there is an aspect of yoga that you can do, I promise you. I think a lot of people seem to believe that all yogis are super health conscious. The only thing that makes us more health conscious than anyone else is the fact that we are doing exercise. So anyone doing exercise is pretty much on the same plane as any other yogi would be, and there are varying kinds of health consciousness in our community, just like there would be in a runner's community or a weightlifter's community. If you're like me, you're doing it for the exercise, for the benefits that you get physically, and I do try to lead a healthier lifestyle. My husband's a little bit better at leading a healthy lifestyle, and I tend to cheat a lot more, and he does less yoga than me, and I can definitely assure you that he's more health conscious than I am. This last one, I don't think I've heard it too much, but I think that people get it in their mind for a lot of things. We believe that you have to be young to start doing yoga or any form of exercise, and that's just a lie. For exercises like yoga, they're so low impact that if your bones are already weak, your joints are weak, anything like that, they're actually really good for you because they build the strength back up, they help with the flexibility and range of motion you may have lost, and they're not putting impact on your joints like running might. That's not to say that you can't start running if you're older or not young either. I'm not sure much about running, I never run, so talk to someone else about that. But yoga is totally something you can do if you are older, if your joints are suffering, or anything like that. In fact, yoga is often used in a lot of physical therapies, and if you've ever hurt yourself, you've probably ended up doing yoga poses if you went to physical therapy. So if you are older or not super young anymore and you're not feeling quite that spring in your step that you used to, it might not even be a bad idea to start doing yoga. So that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said at the beginning of the video, leave a comment down below if there's a myth you've heard and I didn't cover, or if there's something you believe and you're not sure if it's true. If it's true, or I think it's more on the truth side, I'll leave a comment down and reply to you and let you know. Don't forget to like this video, especially if you want to see more yoga myths debunked in the future. And don't forget to subscribe. It's the best way for YouTube to let you know if I've released any new videos.